and welcome to Ask Deb About Business. I'm Ron Gayoso, co-host. We're broadcasting via Futures Television, the home of the future on television. If you're watching the show on Futures Television, listening to it on Radio Futures, or listening to it as a podcast, or as a recorded event on one of the social media platforms, you too can be part of the conversation. Just visit our YouTube channel, and that is IMCI Magazine, where we continue to chat about the topic of the day. You can also access this information on our website, and that is www.futurestelevision.com. So don't be shy. Today, our topic is your winning social media strategy. Confidence plus consistency equals conversion. Digital transformation is in full swing, and no one will dispute how this has been accelerated over the past 3 years. Here are some statistics from the recent Harris poll that shows just how critical social media is to your business strategy. 55% of consumers learn about new brands on social media. 68% of consumers agree that social media enables them to interact with brands and companies. 43% of consumers increased their social media use to discover new products in the last year. 78% of consumers are willing to buy from a company after having a positive experience with them on social media. 80% of business executives think it is very important to invest additional resources in social media marketing. 91% of executives will increase social media marketing budgets in the next 3 years. And finally, 72% of companies use social media data to inform business decisions. For businesses wondering when to start, making greater investments in social media, the time is now. The sooner you start embracing social media as a critical business function, the farther the strong social current will take you. Companies that fail to do so risk being left behind. So there's a lot to talk about on this topic, but worry no more. Now you have someone to talk to. So first, let me say a few words about the show. Broadcasting live from Butterfield Studio in Chicagoland to the world, I would like to welcome you to Ask Deb About Business. The talk show is broadcast every other Thursday at 11 a.m. Central, where I join Deb Dietz to discuss a variety of business topics. So no matter what your venture is, you will certainly have questions. So let me say a few words about Deb before we get started. Deb has a long and distinguished career as a coach, mentor, and through her awesome training programs at SMB Digital Education, she has enabled many entrepreneurs to follow their dreams. And that's what I like about her. It's her ability to deliver practical advice to help you solve real problems. Well, if you have a business question, let's ask Deb. Without further ado, let's welcome Deb Dietz, star of the show and host of Ask Deb About Business. How are you doing today, Deb?
Hey, Ram. Great to see you today. How are you?
You're in the beautiful studios today. How are you doing?
We're doing great. We're delighted to be here in our home studio, Butterfield Studio in Vernon Hills, Illinois. I'd like to thank Jeff Horvath and the Butterfield Studio team for this beautiful set and for making us look and sound so great. So thank you, Jeff and the team. And welcome everyone to the show. Our show focuses on emerging trends, challenges, and opportunities that face small to mid-sized businesses, business owners, business leadership, and business professionals. And we invite subject matter experts on our show, experts on those topics. And my promise to you is that by the end of our time together today, you'll have at least one key takeaway that you can then implement within your business. So our show is all about practical guidance, practical advice, and advice that you can then make actionable today. And I'm delighted today to welcome our special guest, Vanessa Cabrera. Vanessa is an expert in social media. She is a wealth of knowledge on the topic. She is an expert, a keynote speaker. She works with clients all over the world, and we're delighted to have her with us today.
Wonderful. So before we get started, let me say a few words about her. So Vanessa Cabrera is an award-winning social media marketing business coach, an online marketing consultant, a neurolinguistic program and certified business coach, corporate trainer, and a dynamic keynote speaker who educates passionate entrepreneurs on how to increase their online visibility so the world knows who they are. She's the founder of the Money Making Marketing Implementer program, now known as the implementer. Her signature coaching program, where she lays out your money brick road by creating a simple yet powerful social media marketing plan, is customized exclusively for your online persona and business goals. Now, well known for her contagious energy, feisty, and no BS coaching style, Vanessa has become sought after for her ability to map out money making social media marketing strategies that bring her clients explosive results. She's brilliant, both unapologetic and the ultimate master at digital marketing. So, without further ado, let's welcome Vanessa to the show. How are you, Vanessa?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. We're so delighted to have you with us today and extolling your wisdom when it comes to social media. Everybody's doing it.
Yep.
Some are doing it better than others, and so we're delighted to have you with us to help share some best practices with us.
Yeah.
But before we get into the topic of social media, one of the things I love to do is start our conversations with our guests talking about how you got here, so
okay.
how you became a social media expert and what your journey looked like. And I think for business owners all over the world, and certainly there are many, I think we have 7 million new business owners since January of last year.
Phenomenal.
So people are hanging out their shingles and becoming business owners, and part of their key strategy, business strategy, is to have a social media strategy.
Right.
But being a business owner is not for the faint of heart, certainly. And so you have a very interesting story that I'm going to ask you to share with our audience. It's a lot of it is about overcoming adversity and really focusing on what's truly meaningful, but then being able to embrace kind of this journey you're on and ultimately start your own business with phenomenal success. You have a wonderful business. You're growing your business dramatically. Your clients are growing their businesses through your counsel and advice. But you evolved to that. But you started off in a different place.
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of take you back to that starting point, way back when, or actually not that long ago, I guess, where you were in the corporate role.
Yeah.
And in a high-powered corporate role. Professional, very secure in that job. Nice salary, nice benefits. I've been there, so I certainly understand that reality. It's kind of a beautiful thing. But then found yourself in a position where you lost that job, and you lost your position, and then shortly found out within the same week that you were expecting a baby.
Yes.
And that also within that week that your partner left the relationship.
Yes.
And so that is like 3 life events within a period of 1 week.
Yeah.
And so you really had to very quickly rebound from that and move forward. And so I think for those of us that are business owners or just embarking, we're all going to experience ups and downs when it comes to our life and certainly business ownership. And so I'd like to have you share your story about, when that happened to you. What was it that propelled you forward? To ultimately be sitting here today sharing your wisdom with a worldwide audience. Take us back.
Yeah, so true story. I found out that I was losing my job. I found out that I was pregnant, and my partner left me all at the same time. And I vividly remember going, I'm not going to look for another corporate job.
Okay.
I already was doing this on the side, consulting people back then on email marketing, because there wasn't social media marketing back then.
Yeah.
And I had this side hustle that I eventually wanted to turn into a full-time career, right? Okay. But I was scared to, and I'm like, let me just get a couple more months, right, of that, that salary, right? We don't want to lose that salary.
Right.
And so when it was taken away, I don't know, Deb, I just needed to jump, and it was really, really scary, right? Even more scarier when I found out that I was expecting. So I listened to my gut, literally and figuratively, right? And yes, it was scary. Yes, it was terrifying. But what was more terrifying to me at that moment was I didn't want to question the what if, right? 20, 30 years down the road going, oh man, what if I just would have tried, or what would have happened? And so I never wanted to regret not at least trying to launch this business, and that terrified me more than not being able to pay the mortgage, or diapers, or all the things that were running through my head. So it was terrifying, But I now realize, looking back, that it had to be scary. I had to go through that, right? And I believed, you know, the universe or whatnot literally had to push me out for me to start doing my own thing. And that's a big ass wake up call that I got, right? Like just boom, 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 these 3 life moments. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just try. And so I jumped.
So you jumped, and
jumped.
that's a great way to look at it. You had no choice. And you jumped.
Yeah.
And here you are 8 years later, right? So
Yeah.
you've been in business for 8 years.
It'll be 11.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11
That's okay,
years.
in 2023,
That's right. Your
it'll be
son's
11.
8.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 11 years. Absolutely, absolutely. So you're here today because you have, over the course of these 11 years, really developed your skills and become a sought-after expert in social media. You know, evolving from, you know, the days of email marketing
Yeah.
to, you know, what it looks like today, which is quite different. And so let's start, you know, the conversation a little bit about social media, but I want to kind of also let our audience know that you are also a master certified trainer in neuro-linguistic programming. And I'm gonna, you know, full disclosure here and transparency to our audience, I was unsure of what that was. And so, you know, when Vanessa and I were talking and preparing for the show today, I Googled it because I needed to understand obviously what it was. You're obviously a master certified trainer in it. And so, and you, by using some of the methodology, you've grown your business significantly.
Yeah.
As well as helping your clients grow their businesses. So tell us why NLP. First of all, define it for our audience. What is it?
Yeah.
And why has it been so instrumental in the growth of your business and your clients' businesses?
Yeah, so NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And it came into my life last year. I can't believe it's only been a year and a half. And so every year, Deb, I take a look back at my business and how I did, what I can improve on, things like that, right? And so during the pandemic, during 2020, when everyone went online, right? My clients did very, very well. I did very, very well because all the attention was online, right? But I knew that some of my clients, and I work mainly with women entrepreneurs, they did very well, but I knew that they could have done better, right? I saw that in them. I'm like, okay, I know you're excited that you're landing all these clients, but I can see a much bigger picture for you. And so when I was reviewing 2020, I was like, what could I have done? What could I have said? You know, how could I have helped her more? In essence, the question I was asking is, how can I be a better coach, right? Because in my journey, in my entrepreneurial journey, no one teaches you how to be a coach or how to be a consultant, right? In my model of the world, to me, you're at a corporate job for 30, 40, 50, 120 years, whatnot, right? You retire and you have all this knowledge, right? And so then a lot of people become consultants, right? Well, that's not what happened to me. I became a consultant coach very, very young, right? So when I was looking back, I was like, how could I do better? How can I be better? And I had a colleague of mine who's also in the digital marketing world and the social media marketing world. She started talking about NLP. So I'm like, what is this? Like, what are you talking about? And her niche is live streaming, right? So I reached out, so I Googled it, just like you. You guys can Google it, right? Google NLP. And so, but I didn't want to go, I found it fascinating, but I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole. So I'm like, let me just reach out to her, right? So we had this conversation and I said, listen, I'm trying to be a better coach. I know I could have done more, right? And I'm like, can this help me? And she goes, yep, absolutely. She's like, absolutely, this will help you better learn how to communicate, right? And communication is like water, right? We do it every single day, right? So on social media, live streaming, just talking to other human beings in real life, right? And so I invested in her training me on NLP. I'm not afraid to invest anymore. I used to be back in the day, but I've invested over $80,000, if not more, of business coaches, marketing coaches, and now NLP. So when I went through the training, at the bare minimum, kind of like the 101 of NLP, because it's a big world, what I took away was understanding how other people take in information, right? And no one taught me this, right? So then now, when I understand my prospects, I can literally go to their social media profile, right? And be like, oh, she's visual, oh, she's auditory, right? So for me, I learned about myself is that I'm auditory. So I best take in information
Okay.
hearing it, right? So then my coach is like, Vanessa, you shouldn't be reading books, you should be listening to them.
Interesting.
And I was like, and I instantly got it, right? So then I went back to like my past clients. I was reading their emails, I was reading their posts. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's visual. I could have done this, right? Or she's this, right? So
Okay.
it completely changed the game for me on how I approach my prospects, how I now lead my clients, how I coach them through stuff. And so when you're better able to communicate, that's essential for a business coach
You
to
know,
know.
this is so interesting to hear you say this because, you know, as you said that, I live in the world of online education, right? And so when we're developing online courses for people, you know, you have to have an understanding that there are people that are going to be visual learners, auditory learners. There are going to be people that want to read the written word. And so when we're developing online education, we're making sure that we're offering, you know, training in multiple formats.
Right.
Because people consume, you know, knowledge in different ways. It's
Exactly.
exactly the point that you're making. And you know, when you're promoting this out to a very large audience, you have to offer it in multiple formats because there are going to be people and they consume content. Many of the folks in my courses and my clients' courses will watch videos all day long. You know, others want to sit there and look at the slides.
Right.
Some want to literally read the written PDF transcript. And it's so interesting to me. I've had so many conversations about that, but to your point, you know, we have to be able to provide that information, or we want to communicate. In your case, you're communicating with your clients to make sure that they're, you know, presenting themselves well, that they're, you know, communicating their value to their potential customers effectively.
Right.
I'm doing the same thing in an online education format. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, for our audience here is to kind of understand that not everybody has the same style, but you have to look for that. So you were
Yes.
able, by looking at their profiles, to make that determination.
Absolutely. I can tell a mile away, just having a quick conversation with someone or just glancing through their social media posts, how they best take in information, and that's pretty powerful, knowing that now.
Okay.
Look at Deb's like,
No, it is,
Right?
because it's interesting though to hear your perspective on it, because I have, you know, similar perspective, but in a different you know, environment. So,
Yeah.
but so you are now a master certified coach.
yes. So when I went through the NLP practitioner training and learned that, and like I said, that's like the 101 bare minimum. I learned a lot more. And when I started to implement this into my own business, my business exploded, because then my clients were coming to me and they're like, Vanessa, you understand me. You hear me. I hear all the time, Deb, in like some of my posts or when I live stream, they're like, Vanessa, how did you know? Like, I feel you're talking to me, right? And
Okay.
I'm like, I am talking to you, right? So that's how my business started to explode just a year after I got certified as a master or as a practitioner about NLP.
Okay.
And then there's another level of it. And so I invested in that. I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm all in. I want to know more, right?
Right.
So I recently became certified as a master NLP practitioner,
Okay.
coach, and I also am master certified in timeline therapy and hypnosis, right?
Okay.
So it's all different levels of being able to communicate, right? And so when I became master certified, I can go in a deeper level with my clients, right? So
Okay.
what people are struggling with when it comes to social media marketing, right, is getting past the fear, right? Or getting past the limiting beliefs of like,
Right.
no one's gonna buy. Oh my gosh, is this gonna work? What are people gonna think of me? Are people gonna judge me on social media, right?
Right.
And the answer is yes, they're going to, right? I always say this all the time. Mother Teresa can post something and somebody's gonna have an issue with it, right?
Right.
So you can't focus on those people. And so now I know how to break through and demolish those negative thoughts, limiting beliefs on an unconscious level,
Wow.
right? And that's the difference.
So, and that's the difference. So by doing so, then you're helping build confidence. Your clients are becoming more confident,
Yep.
and not only what their value is to their potential customers, but the way that they're communicating.
Exactly.
So that kind of lends itself to, I think you had a recipe for success here, which was really talking about confidence plus consistency equals conversions. I think Ram mentioned this in the introduction,
Yeah.
that's kind of the winning recipe here.
Yeah.
So being confident in the value that you're able to provide to your customers, the ability to clearly articulate the value, finding ways that you can, communicate your relevancy, your authenticity, your
Right.
differentiation. It's all part of, the branding, dynamic branding. That's critically important. But consistency is also important, and I think that this is a question I know our audience wants to hear your answer on, because everybody's out there, all the time on social media.
Yeah.
So many different platforms that are available to all of us, and some are better than others, and would love your thoughts on that as well. But how important is being consistent? Help us understand what that best practice looks like.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? When it comes to social media, you have to have the time to create content, right? And it's time consuming. It is absolutely time consuming, right? So you have to stay consistent. But here's the thing where people are like, I don't have the time, or, I hate social media, or, all the things, right? Is that if you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you're going to be able to land high-end clients making big, big money on social media, and you're going to do this through your content, would you find the time to create content? Yes, of course you would. I say this all the time, like, my parents actually had to get up and go to work. Okay, like they had to actually get up and go somewhere, where today you literally can, get up in bed,
Right.
and post, right? So let's just put it in perspective, right? We find the time for things that are valuable to us, that are important to us, right?
Right.
So when you're consistent and confident, the clients will come. But another thing is that I teach my clients, and we talk about it, is that I'm not on social media 24/7. People think I am. I am not. I am very conscious of what I let in here, because with social media and the world that we live in today, there's so much information coming to us that our brains can't even decipher all this information. We're not programmed to have so much information coming in at this level. So you have to unplug, listen to yourself, right? And then understand what it is that you really want to say to your audience, right? And what you need to do is disconnect and have the time for your creative juices and really understand how you best communicate, right? So then social media becomes fun, right? So when you understand how you're best able to communicate, because I have a lot of my clients saying, Vanessa, I don't want to live stream. That's not okay. I'm like, okay, you don't have to live stream, right? I'm a writer. I best communicate via blogging, right? Okay, then blog, right? So that's the key to staying consistent, and that's why my clients stay so consistent, because we find a way of how they're able to best communicate, and so it's easy for them. So for example, I'm best on camera. Hi, I live stream a lot, right? If you guys follow me, I live stream a lot. I'd rather just turn the camera on, say what I have to say, and go on with my day, right? But if I had to blog, Deb, oh my gosh, I'd be miserable. I would be cursing at that blinking cursor, right? Going, what am I have to say?
So know yourself and know what your kind of comfort zone is, and focus on that. So if you're a blogger, blog, go ahead and write, put it out there. If you're a videographer, you want to you're comfortable on video. A lot of people are not. That's actually another question I have, because we get a lot of questions from our audience about, what is the best method, and there are people that still, everybody. I think the thinking right now is that you should be on camera. You should be, doing video. There are people that are just not going to do it. They're really uncomfortable doing it. But if it works, it's going to work for some, but not for others. So the answer here is find out what works best for you, and so that it's not so overwhelming. And you don't feel pressured to do all these other things. And there are people that may do a lot of things, do them well, but, stay in your lane. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I get it that there's all these social media platforms and these different features, and it's incredibly overwhelming, right? But you need to love what you're talking about, right? Your content needs to light you up. So if you get up and you're like, I can't wait to live stream, I can't wait to get this blog out, I can't wait to send this email out, right? It all starts with your energy of what you're actually talking about that are gonna bring in the clients, right? But if you wake up every morning going, oh,
I've got to do it.
Oh my God.
I've got to post.
I got to post.
Since
I
yesterday.
got to figure out Reels. Oh my God, TikTok.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Your audience can feel that. right? So it's all about the energy, the vibe that you have, how excited you are about
Okay.
what you're talking about, right? You can't
Absolutely.
fake that.
You
You
can't fake
cannot
it.
fake that. So that's what happens to my clients, right? We like break their limiting beliefs, their fears, all that. There's been an internal shift, and now they cannot wait to post on social media. However they're going to do it, however
Right.
they're expressing themselves, and then the clients come and they're like, Vanessa, it cannot be this easy. I'm like, it is. It is once you get out of your own way, figure out how you want to express yourself, boom, the clients will come.
Keep it simple almost. I mean,
Completely.
because you don't have to boil the ocean. You don't have to leverage every platform out there that's available to
No.
you just because it's available to
Yeah.
you. So stay in your lane.
Stay in your
So
lane.
what's working? I mentioned video before, and a lot of people, saw that, a lot of people were doing video, but certainly with what happened over the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
People felt, because there was a level of they felt isolated.
Yeah.
They weren't in person with their clients or even their colleagues. And so they felt the need to go on video just to be seen and be heard. What's working right now
Yeah.
on social media? What are people doing that's really effective right now?
Yeah, so in terms of organic reach, right, this is my methodology. I train my clients on how to communicate with their audience organically, meaning we don't worry about ads, Facebook ads, expensive Facebook ads
Right.
now, Google ads, overcomplicated funnels, none of that. So what's working now is short form videos, right? So TikTok has exploded. I'm not saying you have to dance on TikTok, okay? But TikTok has exploded, and then here comes Instagram with creating their Reels, which is just TikTok videos, right? It's so funny. All these social media platforms steal features from each other, right? That's working. So right now, the organic reach is short form videos, right? But again, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be on TikTok. You don't have to do Reels. This is just the organic reach you can reach now
Okay.
that Facebook was, say, 7-8 years ago. Remember those days, right? When you would post and boom, everyone would see your post on your business page. Those days are gone, right? But what's really working now, to be honest with you, Deb, is you showing up as your authentic self and connecting with your followers. Before, it was about, I need a ton of followers to make money. I need to post constantly. I need to be on social media 24/7. No, what's really happening now is because of the pandemic, people want connection. We're starving for that connection, right? Online. So what's really working now is being your authentic self, letting people know how you can help them, and make these individual connections with these new followers real. Like there's these numbers, people are like, oh, I only have like 50 views. Those are 50 people that took the time to watch your video or to comment or to like. We forget that there's a human being behind the engagement, right?
So that's a great way of kind of keeping it simple too, right? Is just be yourself. You don't have to over-engineer it. We talk a lot on the show about trying to keep it simple and so that you can shine through and be your true self.
Yeah.
And get your message across and your value across. And by doing that, that's a great way to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, because there's only one you, Deb.
Exactly.
Right?
Well,
There's only one me.
Only one authentic. Your only authentic
Yeah.
self, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So you're obviously experiencing some explosive growth in your coaching business.
Yeah.
Your clients are too. So what are some of the things that they're doing that is really having an impact on their business?
Yeah. So it's the internal shift that
Internal
I talked about.
shift, okay.
Yeah, it's the internal shift. It's me really going deep within and really finding out what's really been holding them back, probably for years, if not decades, right?
Right.
We've all been raised and have downloaded these beliefs and these values, right, from our parents or whoever raised us, and now social media and things like that. And they don't always serve us to the best of our ability. Some of these have hindered us, right, from like money blocks, or one of mine that I had to break through that I now realize is that I felt that I had to hustle, that it had to be hard in the beginning, right? That, reaching that peak, I just had to work 24/7, and it could not be farther from the truth, right? Because then I burnt out. I had no clients, no money, and I was completely burnt out with like a newborn, right? So that's been what has been working with my clients. It's the internal shift and just deleting all those values that we thought we had to do, right? There's money blocks. You have to work 24/7. there's one client saying who thought, imposter syndrome is a big one with my clients, that, who the hell am I to charge these rates, and, I'm not worthy, and, and that's stuff that we have to change internally.
So that's a mindset shift.
Complete mindset.
Right? So you're helping them kind of shift the way they think.
I demolish all that.
You demolish all
Yes.
that. Kind of
We
blow
delete
it up.
Yep, we blow it up, psh, and it's
So then it
gone.
becomes very straightforward, very simple. It's not over-engineered. It's not overwhelming
Yeah,
to
no.
people.
No, because then once you demolish that, and it's so fascinating, Deb, once we do a business breakthrough, this is what I call it, a
Okay,
business breakthrough.
business breakthrough,
Yeah.
okay.
Where I go deep and figure out what's really holding them back, and then we delete it, right? There's a shift. They feel it. The next day they come to me and they're like,
Something
what
happened.
did you do? Right? They're like,
Something
what
happened.
did you do? Right?
So that's
Something
an
happened.
exercise you do with them?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what that looks like.
Well, it's an all-day process.
Okay.
So it's deep internal work, and that's all I can say about it.
Deep internal work?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
And so, but yeah, so then once that shift happens, then they're literally just have so many ideas and are perfectly clear on how they're going to communicate with their audience about their
Okay.
business. It's just like, it's a door that opens. That's the best way I can describe it. And
Okay.
it's different for everybody,
Okay.
right? But it's a door that opens, and they're like, oh,
So they're all
my God,
they
I
have
get
these
it.
aha moments
Yes.
about how to move forward.
Absolutely.
And
It's
how to
very
do it
clear.
maybe do it differently,
Yeah.
do it smarter,
Yeah.
do it more simply.
And then we talk strategy. So after we're done with that
Right.
internal work,
Okay.
then we sit down and like, okay, Vanessa, we create a very simple but powerful social media marketing strategy for them, but they're showing up very differently.
They're showing up, okay, very
They're different. They're a different person, and their audience can see it. They're like, what? Something's different about you. And when you show up that way, the clients come, the opportunities come, money comes from different ways that you didn't even dream were possible. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You spoke about strategy, social media strategy,
Yeah.
and I live in the world of strategic planning and business strategy
Mm-hmm.
and all that, marketing strategy. How important is it for business owners, business professionals to have an actual strategy that's written down with clarity about what those tactics look like
Yeah.
and deliverables and timeframes and measurements? How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's essential, right? Like if you're a business owner, it's just 101.
You just
having a
don't go
marketing-
out there and post something.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
whole strategy behind
Right.
what
So
you're
a lot of
doing,
people
right?
are just posting and
Yeah.
throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, and jumping from this social media platform to that platform to now TikTok. They're all over the place with no plan. So, but this is nothing new, right? Like you always just need a marketing plan. That's just marketing 101.
Right.
So you're very clear on number one, your business goals, right? Your financials. Marketing should bring in money. Period.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Let's keep it simple. Your marketing should bring in money. So you need to have a strategy and understand your business goals. How much money do you want to make? This is a very simple question I ask my clients. Like, okay, Vanessa, I want to make 200 grand. Great. What product are you selling? What are we marketing? Okay, so I'm promoting this coaching business, this coaching program. Okay, great. Who are we going after? So it's very one-on-one. Like marketing hasn't really changed, right? It's like your business goal, your product, your target audience, picking a social media platform, and then you showing up and delivering your product to the market.
So picking a social media platform. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that for a second, because there are so many of them. There are so many more now than there were before.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, and I think that, people feel like they have to be everywhere, and they have to, their strategy is to be all inclusive. But that's not productive and
No.
practical,
Right.
probably. So what would you recommend? Just, like I'll use myself as an example. I'm a business owner. I spend most of my time on LinkedIn.
Okay.
My potential clients are on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But then I'll create content on LinkedIn or videos, and then I'll push it out to some of the other platforms. So it's, so I'm just literally just, linking here, linking there, and pushing it out. What are you finding right now? I know you mentioned TikTok. We've talked about TikTok. We did a show on TikTok, Ram and I, not that long ago about the importance of that.
Yeah.
How to use that effectively. But when you're counseling your clients, what platforms are they kind of leaning towards, or where are they active mostly?
Yeah, so, I get this question asked a lot. So here's the thing when deciding which social media platform that you want to throw down in is, number one, you do not have to be on every single social media platform out there. Somewhere down the line, when you start a business, we thought we had to be on Facebook, we had to be on Twitter, we have to be on LinkedIn, we have to be on YouTube, now Instagram, now TikTok, right?
Right.
That's just 6,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And so if you're a singlepreneur, meaning it's just you, right, and maybe a virtual assistant, do you think you're going to be able to create content specific to that social media platform, because they're not all the same, right?
Right.
You can't treat them as they're the same. Facebook is not Instagram. Instagram is not Facebook.
Right.
They're very, very different social media platforms. So when you're choosing which social media platform to go to work, that's what I always say. I'm like, you're going to go to work. Which social media platform are you going to go to work on every day? You need to do 2 things. Number 1, understand if your target audience is hanging out in that platform, right? And number 2, do you like that platform? Because you're the one who's going to have to go on there, every other day or every day or whatnot and post, right? So,
Right.
for example, if I, just like blogging, if I had to blog, I would fail because I express myself with video, right? But if I had to go and market myself on Twitter, I would fail too. Twitter just gives me a headache. I don't understand it. I don't get it, right? I never did. So if I had to tweet every day, I'd hate it. I'd be miserable, and my audience can feel that. They can see that. If you're forcing yourself to
Okay.
be on LinkedIn, even though you don't like it, you don't understand it, it's going to be a struggle to create content for that platform on a consistent basis, right? So you have to love it. You have to love being on that platform because you're going to be on it a lot. So for me, my jam is Facebook. I love Facebook. I understand it, right? It's
Okay.
easy. It's simple for me. I go in, post, and get on with my day. I live stream. I can create reels. So the thing is to concentrate on one
Okay.
social media platform, master that one first, right? And then have your marketing plan, see if it's working. Then once you're bringing in money from Facebook and you're like, okay, I now understand how to bring in clients on Facebook, right? The time, the energy it takes to put your content out there, build a relationship, build that trust, and then convert your followers to work with you. Then we can talk about Instagram, or then we can talk about LinkedIn. Because
Okay.
I need you to know how much work and how much time it is that you have to invest in one social media platform.
So that will also help you kind of reduce potential burnout, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't be everywhere
You can't.
at once.
Yeah.
And you also said something I think it's really important is know where your potential audience is and pick that channel,
Yeah.
pick that platform,
Yep. Master that.
master that.
Master one platform, bring in money from that platform, right? And then move on to another one, because you're going to need time for both of them now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Social media, it used to, when I think about it back, even just a few years ago, thinking about it as being part of a marketing, of an overarching marketing strategy.
Yeah.
There would be a social, media strategy underneath that umbrella. But I think what's shifting in the world today, in the business world today, is that social media is becoming its own, major strategy component of a business because of all the analytics and knowledge that's coming
Yeah.
in. When you're out there posting and you're out there doing videos, or you're putting ads out there, it's like the response is pretty immediate, right? I mean, you're getting people that like you or will comment on your post, and so, or you're seeing ads convert as an example, and so that's I look at that as being an opportunity to gather business intelligence for the business.
Yeah.
So it's not just about it's a marketing channel. It's now providing insights and intelligence that helps you craft business strategy. You may find by doing your work on social media that you're learning a lot about your products or your services, or where maybe you're not hitting the mark, or where your messaging is off. So would you say that's a fair statement, that the importance of social media is becoming enterprise-wide as opposed to just being really considered part of a marketing function?
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's so much data. There's so much data coming from social media that you can use a number of ways, right? One of the things, and you guys can write this one down, is when you're engaging with a prospect, right? And then you're listening to what they have to say, you're reading their posts when they're expressing what their problems are, right? That data alone, as far as like copy is concerned, right? That's why everyone's like, Vanessa, you're in my head. How did you know, right? how did you know I was struggling with this? I'm like, because somebody asked me this. My other client is struggling with this. Somebody else posted about this, right? So if one person is having a problem on social media or landing clients or whatnot, I know probably millions, thousands more are having the same problem. So yeah, there's so much data on social media that you can use to build strategic plans around messaging, all that. Problems, what are my clients' real problems? What are they really struggling with? And so for me, I always thought, they just didn't understand Facebook, or they didn't understand, live streaming or whatnot. No. Now I completely understand it's deeper, that they're afraid to go live, or they're afraid it's not going to work, or because let's face it, social media is like, it's your platform, right? To say and do whatever it is that you want to say, right? Which is basically public speaking, right? And public speaking is the second biggest fear next to death. So I get it. You have to, we got to work through some stuff first, right? In order for you to show up as, the powerhouse, confident businesswoman who has an incredible service that is going to change lives or whatnot, right? But you got to get out of your own way.
So what would be some tips for folks that are not comfortable doing video, but want to explore that? What would you recommend to them?
If they're wanting to do video, I just say have fun with it.
Okay.
Right? Have fun with it, because remember, if you're afraid to go live or even pre-recorded videos, right? Your audience does not want perfection. They don't care if you screw up. They really don't. They just want to know how you can help them, right? So
actually, the audience has questions about that. Specifically, can you explain how important is video a part of your strategy, and the anxiety about, are there other alternatives for the people who don't want to do video? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So how important is video part of your content strategy? So I love video for a marketing strategy because, they could see you, they can hear you. And so I often recommend, gently push or nudge my clients to go live, because the reason I love live streaming so much is that when you're live, you're live. You can't fake it, right? They see it all, and that's what's scary about it. But the connection that you make with your audience live streaming is bar none, right? Than a blog or whatnot. They can see you, they can hear you, they can tell if you're afraid, if you screw up, you're human. Right. So from my experience of these 11 years, it's these idiosyncrasies that we all have that people connect with the most, right? They're like, oh, well, Vanessa messed up. She's not perfect, right? When I started live streaming, I made every mistake in the book when you could only go live from your phone, right? I was stumbling. I had a weak signal. I froze. My battery died. I dropped my phone. Like, I made every live streaming mistake possible because I was just trying to figure it out. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out, right? And so for those who are interested in starting some video, just go out and try. Your audience doesn't care if you mess up. And if you do, that's what builds the connection even stronger. Does that make sense?
It does. It's interesting too, because we talk in terms of in order to make a connection with someone or get someone to ultimately become your customer, they have to know you, then they have to like you, trust you, that you're building that relationship. But the starting point is they have to know you. They have to know who you are and know your real self, right? So that they can, again, you're looking for that connection.
That human connection.
That human connection.
We're all human.
So video is a great, certainly consider it, right? Even for those that are maybe more introverted than those that are than extroverted, but try it, right? Because chances are, whoever's going to see it, everybody has to start somewhere.
Everyone started somewhere,
right?
No one woke up and was a Facebook expert, right? Not even Mark Zuckerberg, right? No one woke up and was an Instagram expert. We all have gone through our social media journeys differently, right? So just start. And you may find that you love it. A lot of implementers weren't live streamers. And in particular, I remember one who was like, all right, I've never live streamed, but I'll try it, right? She was nervous. She was terrified of it, right? She started live streaming and she loves it. She's like, Vanessa, oh my gosh, where has this been? So she could just turn on the camera, talk about whatever, her business, and then go out. She's like, what was I so afraid of? And I'm like, I get it. We all have these fears, what people are going to think. But again, video is not necessary to be successful on social media. That's why we have these different features.
Right.
So I had another client who doesn't want to live stream. She's not into video. I tried to nudge her, but she was like, no, it's just not me.
Okay.
So she's a blogger. And she still crushed it in her business working with me just by blogging or just by creating, her strategy was content.
Okay.
Just creating content. So she would just do regular posts with an image, right? And that was her strategy. And she was landing clients left and right with no
Vanessa,
video, no live streaming.
We have questions about money. We didn't talk much about money.
Oh, let's talk money.
There are questions about money here. Let's talk money. So can we talk about money? Is there a rule of thumb of how much you should be paying for social media ad campaigns there? And in addition to that, is it better to hire an agency or do it yourself? Let's talk a little bit about the budget and the money. How does that work?
Oh, I love this question. So a couple things. So my methodology is being able to land clients organically, just showing up as who you are. It's worked for me. It's worked for my clients. I paid for Facebook ads, I think one time running a social media campaign just to test it out, right? I lost money and I didn't land any clients, but that's my experience. And I worked with an agency and I've also done Facebook ads on my own, right? So here's the thing when it comes to advertising and budgets and advertising on social media. Number one, you have two ways you can do this. You can either do it yourself, right? Or you can outsource. So if you're going to do it yourself, I would highly recommend that you invest in someone who's going to teach you how to do it,
Okay.
right? And this person has actually gotten results with their clients. Because Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, it's a deep rabbit hole that you can go down in, spend a lot of time, a lot of money trying to figure it out on your own, right? Rather than investing in someone to teach you how to do it, you will save time and money, right? And then the other thing is outsourcing it, right? Those are your two options. So either you get educated on how to do it on your own, or you outsource it to an agency for them to do it for you. But again, you can land clients. You can make money organically without advertising through social media and just showing up as who you are, because that's how me and my clients are doing it. We don't pay Facebook ads or none of it.
You don't?
No, we just show up as who we are.
So Vanessa, we have a different kind of question from Facebook. Hi, Facebook. So let's talk a little bit about social media audits. First of all, do you conduct your social media audits? And how do you determine what works and what doesn't?
So social media audits, to me, and so I need to know like what their definition of a social media audit is. But when I start to work with my clients, I certainly look over their social media profiles and see how we can make it better and tweak it. So for, LinkedIn is very SEO, right? So we need to have those keywords in there. For Facebook, is your personal profile connected to your business page, things like that. And an audit to me is also how that person is showing up, right? So I can literally scroll through their profiles and see if they're hiding in plain sight, which 9 times out of 10, if they're gonna work with me, they have been hiding, right? Not really posting about their business. If they do, it's very vague, and then they post another one about their family, so no one really saw that last post, right? So audits are important if you know what the goal is for your social media marketing to be and understand that platform and really understanding how your profile is set up on that platform, right? And then what was the second part of that question? We're talking about money. Okay,
Oh.
we answered that one.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, rule of thumb.
Audits and something else.
And the third one was. Do you conduct your audit? So how do you know what works and what doesn't?
Okay.
Do you have a rule of thumb for that?
Yes, I do. So when clients work with me, what we do is we create a social media marketing campaign, right? And so all a campaign is when you're talking about your product in a certain amount of time, right? So we go all in talking about the product and or program or service that you're marketing to, right? They don't burn out because my clients understand they're not going to be posting on social media 365 days out of the year, all day long. This is a campaign. It's just for a limited time, right? So how do you measure results? Number one, you have to have a plan, right? We were talking about this as a strategy. So
Right.
what's the goal? So if the goal is to make, I just had a client who sold out her retreat. The goal was for her to sell out her retreat to make $30,000, right? 8 people for the retreat. Okay, cool. That's the goal. She implemented her social media campaign. We discussed which social media platforms she was going to focus on. She went all in, and she hit her goal. So did it work? Yes,
She met her
it
goal.
worked. That's how you measure it, right? One thing I can say is that people just don't talk about their businesses enough on social media.
Okay.
They're like, I don't want to
Hiding
bother
in plain
people.
sight. That was an interesting
Yeah, they're hiding in
statement you
plain
made.
sight. Yeah, I don't want to bother people. You know, I don't want to post too much about my business. I don't want to annoy people. You have the wrong mindset, right?
Okay.
Because for me, I know I probably irk a lot of people on Facebook because I talk so much about my business, but I don't give a damn. I was a single mom.
Yeah.
I had to pay the mortgage.
Right.
I had to pay, it was all on me, right?
You had no other alternative.
I had no alternative. So I saw these platforms. I saw a huge opportunity. I understood Facebook intuitively and
Right.
saw it very, very clear of what I could do. And I don't apologize for it. So
No, I think that's great. I think that a lot of people ask that question about how much is too much
Yeah.
too. You know, it's like, you know, frequency. What should be the
Yeah.
frequency that you're doing? You did it, and it worked for you.
Yeah.
I mean, because it fit, and you were able. You're very, personable and very comfortable getting on video and talking about your business.
Yeah.
You're
Now.
now you're not hiding in plain sight. But so we have to overcome that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have to think about, don't be shy and put it out there. And I think a lot of people are afraid because they see a lot of other people's behaviors, and some are like posting all the time, multiple times a day, and it's almost like, oh, I'm gonna, block you because I'm just so tired of seeing
Yeah.
you. I'm in my feed,
Yeah.
constantly throughout the day. But so there's somehow you have to find the balance, what works for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And just experiment.
Exactly. And, if it's annoying, then just unfollow me, right?
Right.
Then you are not my target audience, right? But I know in my head when I'm doing these interviews or live streaming on Facebook, I am talking to that single mom because I was there. I'm talking to that woman who wants to launch her program but is scared. Because I was there, right?
Right.
So I know exactly who I'm talking to. So when I look in the camera, I'm like,
Well, you've walked
can
in
do
those
this.
you've walked in those shoes.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ability, the empathy is there, the understanding is
Yeah.
there. It's like, based on your experiences, you're able to, find that common ground with people. And I think that's another part of that, the know, like, and trust factor is, people have to, know you, but they have to trust you. And
Yeah.
if you can prove that you can serve, that your solution can solve their problem or their issue, then you've gone a long way in helping yourself, maybe land that next client
Yeah.
or, be the vendor of choice. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Vanessa, thank you so much for your insights and your wisdom with our
Yeah.
audience. One thing we love to do is we get feedback after our shows from our audience. They always come back and say, oh, can you talk about this next time with Vanessa? So we'll hear back from our audience.
Oh,
and
cool.
they'll probably tell us, that they like us to do sometimes deep dives and specific things that we talked about that, right now we have limited time. So, but maybe it's NLP or whatever it is to do a deeper
Yes.
dive in, which might be kind of an interesting show as well. But we'd love to have you come back, and thank you so much for
I'd love to be back. This was so much fun.
being with us.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. Ron?
Yes, so Vanessa, well, next time you have to come back because a lot more people are asking more questions and making comments. It's important to be vocal about your business on social media. And thank you so much for saying that because, Casey was just saying exactly that. Wow, you have to open up your mouth and start saying things. So
Yeah,
Vanessa,
you do.
You have
Don't
to
be
come
shy.
back.
Yeah.
You have to
I'd
promise
love
you're
to.
gonna come
Thank you
back.
so much for having me. I'd love to.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you learned something new about, how to develop your winning social media strategy. Please share your comments with us and let us know, what your key takeaway was from today's show. And let us know where you're watching the show today. So, Vanessa, before we sign off, how can people get a hold of you or connect with you?
They can befriend me on Facebook. They can befriend me on Facebook, or they can go to vanessa-cabrera.com.
Oh, wonderful. I will write this on the comment section of this video. And folks, I want to say a few words. So today we talked with Vanessa Cabrera. She promised to be back. I'm gonna be on her case. And our next show will be this next upcoming Thursday, December 1st, with Carl Ziegman discussing financial planning and accounting, best practices for small and medium businesses. We're currently planning our 2023 shows, and we have 2 panel discussions in the works in January and February. One is a panel of women business owners discussing best practices to build, scale, and grow your business. And another panel discussion with angel investors sharing what you need to know about raising capital for your business. I want to start saying our thank yous, and a very special thank you to the Butterfield Studios, whom we thank, who is our house and our home in Vernon Hills. So let me say a few words about them.
Welcome to Butterfield Studio, the highest quality virtual event production and live streaming broadcast platform in the industry. Owned and operated by an award-winning team of producers, programmers, and designers. Butterfield Studio is pioneering a highly secure, state-of-the-art virtual live platform that promotes and fosters the human connection, keeping the live in virtual events. Why choose Butterfield Studio? Butterfield Studio has the technology and the team. Everything needed to deliver A-class virtual events, all from one location. 7,500 square feet, multi-camera, turnkey facility. In-house production team. Brandable custom sets. State-of-the-art lighting. Simulcast live broadcasting and streaming. Secure virtual platform, fast and interactive. Best-in-class audience engagement features with real-time analytics. And most importantly, Butterfield Studio has a roster of loyal customers who rely on us to produce professional virtual programming of all formats and sizes. At Butterfield Studio, we create, we deliver, we engage. Contact Butterfield Studio for your next production, and together, let's keep the live in virtual events.
Again, thank you so very much, Vanessa, for this beautiful talk today. And Deb, it's always wonderful to see you.
Absolutely, Ron. Thank you so much. Vanessa, thank you.
Thanks so much.
And folks, I will see you next time on yet another edition of Ask Deb About Business. See you next time.